through the lock at the bottom and enter the relative comfort of the decompression chamber.
Êtes-vous à 3 dans la tourelle? Êtes-vous à 3 dans la tourelle? Vous êtes prêts à fermer la porte?
As the Calypso is assured that all 3 divers are secure, one of the service divers makes a final check of equipment and closes the hatch. Quickly now, the divers begin their final ascent. Hoisted to the crowded deck, the SDC is immediately lowered into the hold so that the soucoupe can be returned to its platform above it. Here, periodically breathing pure oxygen, while Dr. Cabarrou gradually alters the pressure in their capsule, the divers will remain in limbo for the next 2 hours and 45 minutes. Eagerly, the crew examines the artifacts brought up in the basket from below. On the brass ring of the pilot's wheel, the manufacturer's name is still legible. The ship's sextant, it is believed, might still be restored to workable condition if submerged for a time in fresh water and carefully cleaned. At last, their long wait in the SDC at an end, the 3 divers are released from confinement. Routinely, Dr. Cabarrou asks each man how he feels. Routinely, each man gives an affirmative reply. But Falco has been below in the soucoupe. He knows that at moments they felt a little lost.
Here you are.
Not very good. Here are all the patients, and here are the nurses and the matron. You'll see here the boats hanging. The lifeboat in front of me and the one behind were drawn in by the propellers and cut into ribbons. If anybody escaped from those boats, it was because they jumped out and perhaps could swim away. You see, the boat was worth 2 millions, and where we were hit, there were high cliffs, and they wanted to beach the boat where there was sand, the other side of the island. And so the minute we touched the water, she went on, and the propellers were coming up.
And turning.
Turning, and at the back it was a whirlpool. Mm-hmm. And they were pulling all the lifeboats into the whirlpool. And when she went in altogether, she just went straight in, just like a dive, a good dive. And everybody's heart was in their mouths. When she was turning, of course, I was thinking, oh, my trunks will be sliding under the other girl's bed. And all the oranges and lemons I bought in Naples will be on the floor. And where is my clock? You know, things like that. We had lots of concerts. I've lost all my songs, all my best music. Now I hear somebody sing and I say, oh, I had that. It's down below. I don't know what we were thinking about, all kinds of things. And the wreckage was floating about round us. And we suddenly saw notices saying, doctors only, nurses only, patients only.
Floating?
Floating in the water. Because the matron was very old-fashioned. When we wanted to walk and have a real walk in the evening, she put this rope across, you see, to stop us walking. And one wag near me saw these notices, and he said, "Huh, surprised the old dame didn't put a notice to say doctors and sisters shouldn't drown on the same side of the ship." And when I got back into Athens at night to go to bed, I had my French knickers on with blue ribbons threaded through, and one was lost. And the other nurses were very teasing me. They said, "Have you given the sailor the blue ribbon for that, in exchange for that, you see?"
Did you?
No. I'm much too Victorian.
When you received the cable from New York asking you to come here in Athens on board Calypso, you were astonishingly rapid to decide to come.
I have had a very lucky life. I've been to many countries, and I never thought I would come back to the Brittanic again, no. And it's marvelous, marvelous. Now I am 10 years younger than I was last Wednesday. See?
As the days pass and the search progresses, Cousteau himself prepares to examine the wreck.
Si on rentre quand on a l'attention là-dedans. C'est ça qu'il faut regarder.
As usual during the search, Cousteau takes his bearings and plans his dive in relation to the Brittanic model aboard the Calypso. Intending to explore the forward section of the liner, he is again reminded it is a world askew. To descend the grand staircase, for example, his progress will not be vertical, but horizontal.
Et pas vers le fond de la mer. Bien sûr.
Au même niveau. C'est-à-dire que quand on descend l'escalier, on reste au même niveau.
Bon.
Et il faudra nous sortir un profondimètre et une...
With the unhurried precision learned in long practice, final preparations for the descent are completed on deck. With his diving companions, Patrick Delamotte, and senior team member Albert Falco, Cousteau reviews the catechisms of underwater safety.
C'est marrant de se dire qu'on va avoir froid alors qu'on crève de chaud.
Ouais, c'est bon d'avoir chaud.
Hein?
C'est bon d'avoir chaud.
Oui, avant, oui. On emmagasine un peu ce qu'on va perdre.
On va couper des calories.
Ouais.
Though their banter is deceptively casual, each knows that they will be working at depths where survival demands utter fidelity to the rules. On the exact basis of dive duration and the greatest depth achieved, Dr. Cabarrou will calculate the decompression pattern and its intervals of oxygen intake.
C'est pour quelle durée? 15 minutes à?
15 minutes à 100.
Oui.
Et 10 minutes à 110.
Et 15 minutes à 110.
In a final check, each sets his watch for the exact time limit on the dive.
Ça, on connaît. C'est ça. Si on fait que 10 minutes à 110, c'est le palier. C'est ça, 64.
Il n'y a que 64. Bon, 45, c'est... Attention, vous êtes prêts, hein, les autres? Il est parti. 15 3 0 0. Il est parti.
As Cousteau submerges, Falco and Delamotte immediately follow, for already the clock has begun to count.
As always, the dive is a race with time, a dreamlike fall to the bottom. I passed the decompression chamber, without which there could be no safe return for any of us. Swiftly, I follow the braided nylon cable downward and soon drop past the SDC's stabilizing pig iron weight, suspended like a stone in the sky. Almost at once, I cross the barrier of darkness. Then, at 180 feet, as Falco and Dolmot overtake me, we encounter the cold, the chill that invades our wetsuits and our spirits. At last, I begin to discern the colossal hulk. My depth gauge indicates 320 feet. It has taken us 6 minutes to get here. In 9 minutes, it is imperative that we begin our return. I swim now through a world in which all reference points have been altered. The walls of the monumental first-class hall are above and under me, the floor directly ahead. I weave through a labyrinth of metal bars across my horizontal course. I feel I could get caught like a tuna in a giant net. Abruptly, I realize that these grids are all that remain of the grand staircase. But a less definable sense of disorientation also haunts me. The Britannic's entire career was unintended. Planned for fashionable transatlantic crossings, she spent her brief life in the drab pursuits of war. Here in this room, where orchestras were meant to play, dust has settled everywhere in the Stygian gloom. History has made a mistake. I approached the huge opening ripped in the forward hull by the explosion. While Falco films and Dolmot aims the beams of our powerful lights, I search for clues that will tell us more about the Britannic's tragedy. Soon I am surrounded by twisted steel plates and bulkheads, by torn clusters of electric cables and rotted planks. I realize I have penetrated deep into the ship's entrails. Then darkness. I cling to a buckled pipe. My companions reappear and find me. What has seemed to me an eternity was only seconds. I remember the sudden fear, the line by Paul Valéry. A man alone is in bad company. Quickly, we go on with the search. When we reach the very bottom, the depth is 370 feet. Here and there, one of us picks up a bit of debris, stores it in the soucoup's basket for later examination at the surface. Not far from the immense rupture, perhaps 100 feet back from